everybody, welcome to Creatives Chat. And today we're going to talk about cosplay photography and give you some tips on success in cosplay photography.
So these tips are not in any particular order, but they're basically Allie and I's tips from working on shoots with cosplayers together, being a cosplayer myself. I think the number one most important thing, and this is especially if you're going to cons, be really aware of your cosplayer's costume. Especially if they're like by themselves, they don't have a handler with them. You know, if their wig's askew, if their costume is askew, just say something. Say like, hey, right, like just say something, because then if I get my photo back and like something's showing that I didn't really want particular to be showing, I'm gonna be really like sad that you guys just didn't take the time to say, hey, just as an FYI, your wig is, maybe you just need to pull it up a little bit, so.
And even as a photographer,
right.
You'll save yourself some Photoshop.
Right.
If you watch.
Right, exactly.
So as a photographer, it's a good idea to ask the cosplayer questions about the cosplay. You may think you know it, you may not know it, but it's always better to ask them so you get the idea of what it is that they're trying to bring through, so you can bring that through in the photography and in the final image and in the post-processing.
Yes.
And if they have it, ask for reference images and have them send you those reference images.
Yeah, which usually they probably will have on hand. I mean, it takes a moment of your time to just Google that. So, I mean, I know that I was definitely in a shoot once where it was a Game of Thrones shoot, and the photographer was
I know
the photographer was like, oh, I gave you guys some Photoshop love, and he like made Khaleesi all like icy, which like ice fire, and I was just like, but that doesn't make any sense for her character.
Especially because the ice dragon had not been invented yet.
No, it was like way before any of that.
We were like
only in like season 4.
So we didn't know.
Spoilers.
Maybe years later it would have made sense.
Right, but no, not now.
Because she never rode the ice dragon.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, so it
wasn't even good Photoshop.
Take the time to kind of just ask. Just ask. So.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't.
I always ask, is the character good?
Yes. That's
the character evil?
What's your alignment?
Was that why you do that? I just say, are they good or bad?
Well, that's like a thing, right? Like, what's your alignment? Are you like good, bad, evil, neutral?
Right.
Right.
What's your personality of your character?
Right. Are you fierce?
Right.
Are you timid?
Are you friendly?
Right. Are you gonna stab me in the face? So as a cosplayer, whenever we're shooting, a lot of the time I like to see the back of the camera.
Pain in the ass.
I do. I like to see the back of the camera though. It's particularly nice, especially if the photographer is directing me, like saying like, oh, I really want you to do this, this, and this. And I'm like, oh, I'm not too sure. And they direct me that way. And then they show me the back of the camera to see how great the photo is. It helps as a model, especially because most cosplayers are not models. We're winging it here. It helps. It really helps to see the correction.
The back of the camera is not like your secret preview photographers.
Right.
You really should share it.
Yeah.
I pose eyeball directions, and I have found that if I get someone's eyeballs where I want them, and I get their chin where I want it, which are really critical for good posing, if I show them the back of the camera and I go, look, this is what you were doing. This is how we improved it. And I go back, boop, 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 back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. They're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and then it's like a lesson, right? Mm-hmm. That you've learned as a cosplayer, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I should not look like this whenever I'm trying to make a sexy face.
My eyeballs go
right.
all over the
yeah,
place.
No. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Show back of camera.
As a photographer, once you're done taking the images, you're not done.
No.
You've got to go edit those images.
Yes.
You might have some reference images, and those are great. But if you don't, or if you do, I like to go to Google, go to Google Images, and Google that character. And I look for several things.
Takes 1 second.
It doesn't take long, and it's actually kind of fun. I look for the color toning.
Oh, yes.
Because remember, the first time I shot the lovely Miss Sierra, she was Maleficent Steampunk.
Yeah.
And I gave her purple smoke because she had purple.
I mean, I was kind of okay with it though.
But Maleficent should have had
Green smoke. Yeah.
And I just didn't know this yet because I was very new to cosplay photography.
Right.
So now I would give Maleficent green smoke.
Right, right.
But I look and I'm like, okay, this is a movie character. How is this, like, if it was a Game of Thrones, I would be looking at, because I don't know if anybody's ever noticed, but in Game of Thrones, depending on what scene they're shooting, they have different color tones.
Right.
If they're from Dorne,
Right.
the color tones are actually super warm.
Yeah. Mhm.
And even in Lancaster, they're warm, but not as warm as Dorne.
Right.
And then when they're up,
It's more like gold royal tones, like those jewel tones and stuff like that.
it's
almost.
also darker.
Yes.
And Dorne is brighter.
Right. Right.
And then when you go up north, it goes cool.
yeah. Oh my gosh.
So if I have a character that's from different areas of Game of Thrones, I'm going to try to match that color toning.
right, like frickin' Jon Snow.
Well, he goes to all those places.
Oh my god, I can't stand him.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, Google character, look for the characteristics that make that character, and put that into your post-processing.
Yes.
And our last tip.
Capture the details.
Exactly.
Cosplayers worked really hard on those details. They could be small, they could be a large detail, they could be the whole costume, they could be something as simple as like embroidery on the collar.
A piece of jewelry.
Yes, but we work so hard on them.
Even if they bought it.
Yes.
It's not like they made it.
No, but still, it's a piece that they spent their money on, and they thought that piece was important, and it's an important detail.
Exactly.
So
make sure you capture the full image and get in there with those details that are important.
yes, yes.
And those are our 5 tips.
So we hope that you've liked this video. We want you to like, subscribe,
Hit the bell!
even though it doesn't work.
Hit the fucking... hit the damn bell.
Yeah, hit the damn bell.
Sorry.
We'll see you next Monday.
Okay. In cosplay photography.